Hello and welcome back. So in the previous episode you saw me, after some chat, take some oil drums and brutally attack them with a pickaxe and an angle grinder, hammer and chisel, and turn them into charcoal kilns. Now it's time to actually use them to make some charcoal. Here they are, ready to go. I'll show you a close-up in a moment. Behind them is the wood that we're going to use. Now some of you might remember a year or two ago my granddad helped me demolish a hedge to open up the garden, most of which he shredded, but I did manage to salvage a few bigger bits. That's what's here, and it's mostly willow. The rest of this is also hedge trimmings, and it's mostly what we've got: hawthorn, field maple, blackthorn, that sort of stuff. All of it will make good charcoal. Although the rule of thumb, I guess, is the same as with firewood: the denser the wood, the better. So something like hawthorn, ash, oak, those kind of woods. What you don't want is softwood. Softwood makes terrible charcoal. The charcoal comes out way too light. Softwood is also full of resin, which just turns into tar in the charcoal, and it's not great. So if any of you are looking for wood to turn into charcoal, finding someone who's processing a hedge would actually be a really good starting point, because this stuff is not usually worth processing into firewood. So it would either be chipped or just burnt on site as brash. In fact, just finding a tree surgeon, they'll probably let you have this sort of stuff for nothing. Because again, it's just not worth their time doing anything with it. I've stuck the barrels on some bits of old paving slab to raise them off the ground and get some airflow through the holes that are in the bottom. I should mention at this point that doing this is going to sterilise the ground, so just bear that in mind if you're doing it in a garden. The ground will obviously be heated up, and that's going to kill anything that's in it. I don't mind doing that here because I keep this area clear anyway for processing wood. From this angle looking down, you can see how we're going to get plenty of airflow through the fire to begin with. And a normal brazier that you'd have in your garden for burning brash, you'd want holes all over it. For the more airflow the better. But here, once we get the fire going properly, we then need to put it out. So I'm going to have to seal this up. And that's why I've just got holes in the bottom and around here. It'll all become clear in a bit. So in this barrel, I'm going to use the method that I've used for years, which is to light a fire in the bottom there and then start chucking in bits and sort of badly stack the wood so there's plenty of airflow, get it all the way up to here and then seal it up, and hopefully it turns into charcoal. In this barrel I'm going to try something that I've only just learnt about, and that's a top-down fire. So I'm going to load it all up first and then light a fire on top and then put this on top of that to act as a flue, which should draw air through from underneath, and the fire will burn from the top down to the bottom. And once you see it burning down here, then again we seal it up and hopefully it all turns into charcoal. This method I've done before, although not for many years. This method I've never done, but I thought it'd be interesting to put the two methods head to head and see if there's any real difference. I've got some cardboard here which should be enough to get the fire going, and then it should catch on the smaller stuff I'm going to try. So when it comes to selecting wood for charcoaling, I wouldn't go any smaller than something like that. It's just going to make charcoals that are just too small to be of use. And then at the other end, I wouldn't use anything bigger than this. Anything possibly even this size, but definitely anything bigger than this, it won't charcoal all the way through. It'll be brown in the middle still. The length of it doesn't matter though. It'll charcoal all the way down. So that's just whatever you can fit in the kiln. Well, that's this one loaded. You've got to be careful to leave plenty of air gaps, and with the wiggly wood that I've got here, that's not a problem. And it's also important that the wood is seasoned, and I think it's been 2 years since I cut this down, so that's just about perfect. Freshly cut wood is about half water, so you don't want to use that. Right then, we're ready for the off. This one's full, this one's empty. I've got a timer on my phone, set it going now. I'm going to light them both and we'll see what happens. challenge now is to fill up this one before that wood just burns. "14 minutes in." Cooked very well, isn't it? The mistake I made with this one was not having a big enough fire going on before I put the flue on there. Because you need a, it just wasn't drawing up very well. We're now just over 25 minutes in. You can see that this one is looking much happier now. We've got flames coming out the top and all the paint's starting to burn off the top third here. So that's now working as intended, which is great. This one needs topping up again. "34 minutes and change." All of this smoke is coming from that one, none from that one. So that in itself is a big advantage. So with this one I'm waiting for the smoke to clear. So once the smoke's gone, that's a fair indication that at least the water's been driven off. Now to seal them up, for one of them I got a proper lid, for the other I got this big lump of 3mm steel, which I reckon will do. Yeah, that's definitely caught at the bottom now, you can hear that roaring away. So this is ready now. So if I poke it off it might distort, but if I grab it off I might get burned. Flip it off over there. Might as well seal this one up as well. So all that in just under an hour, which is quicker than I expected, which possibly means that I was premature with sealing them up, but we shall find out in the morning. I'm just going to have a tidy up now, and I shall pop back every now and again just to keep an eye on these, because obviously if any air gets in there, they're just going to flare up and we'll lose the lot. The following morning, everything's gone cold. Time for a moment of truth. Now, there will be charcoal, but will it be a bucket load or a barrow load? Ooh. Look at that. This is one of the bigger bits. Now this feels like it hasn't charcoal, this one. Yeah, see that? So that's only charcoaled around the edge. Probably the same for this big bit. We'll sort through that in a moment, see what the yield is. So yeah, that was shut down a bit too soon. Oh no. Yeah, this looks bad. This was also shut down prematurely. Ugh. I thought it was a bit quick. But it all looked good. Anyway. Well, the main lesson so far is that I shut them both down too soon. Yeah, so that's not really charcoal. We're definitely heading more towards bucket than barrow territory. The yield is not great. I'm going to use this crate as a sieve. See, we don't want super fine bits of charcoal for forging. So that's it. That's our yield. Much closer to a bucket than a barrow load. Let's have a look at the other one. A little bit. And here's all the wood that didn't turn into charcoal. Let's get a score then for the actual yield. So this is the new method. One builder's bucket. So one bucket and a handful, we'll call that. And this one is the old method. One. Nearly two from that. Like I said, that one, that's the first time I've ever tried that method. But even this one, it's been 15 or 16 years since I've tried this. That being said, not a great result. I'm going to try again. I'm not going to use the old wood there, although that would be easy to turn into charcoal now. I'm going to try again with fresh wood, because that's what I'm supposed to be demonstrating here. So I'll prepare a load of more fresh wood and we'll have another go. So I rewatched the video where I got the idea for this method, the one with the flue, and it's only a minute and a half long, this video, but I managed to miss out a detail that was in there. The guy burned his batch there for 2.5 hours, he said, and of course this was just under an hour. Now if I'd tried to burn it yesterday for 2.5 hours, there wouldn't have been anything left, and that's because I stacked it with lots of air gaps in, and I stacked most of the wood vertically as well. So what I've done to make it burn longer is stack it as densely as I can. So this is all stacked crossways. Most of it is about that as a minimum, and that sort of thickness is what I've been aiming for. And then on the top here I put much more small stuff than last time, because remember we had trouble getting it going. So the top here is packed with small stuff, and then bigger but as densely packed as possible all the way down. I watched another video from a chap in Texas, and I will link to both of these in the video description of this video, and he got an impressive yield out of a barrel charcoal method by using it as a pit kiln, so by building fire in layers basically. So he got it going until about halfway up, then chucked in a load more wood which pretty much snuffed out the first lot and so on, but he spent 4.5 hours doing that. I don't intend to spend that long on this, but I will spend a bit longer than last time. So I'm going to give this try and give this one a better shot as well. We're about 6 minutes in, and I think that's cooked sufficiently. Get a flue on there. That intake noise is, we didn't really get that last time at the beginning, or not first time round. No smoke. Of course, this one is going to be smoking for hours. Hopefully we'll get at least 2 hours out of that and then shut it down. Now this one is where I'm going to have to put in all the effort. Of course, there was plenty of effort processing the wood that went into that one, so bear that in mind. There's plenty of work either way. So what I've done here is fill it up to about there, quite chaotically, just chucking it in higgly-piggly, and that's deliberate to leave lots of air so I can get a good fire going, and then I'll give it a shake and let this lot drop down and build another layer. But again, look at the difference in smoke. Loads of smoke, no smoke. This is roaring away merrily now. There's a lot of heat coming out of here, so I'm going to knock out the tiles on the bottom here and just reduce the air intake just slightly. And I'm going to do the same with this one actually. I'm not going to put the camera anywhere near that, but it's now gone from being there to about there. I'm going to chuck in another load. I'm going to try and put it in a bit more densely this time. So drop it in flat, in other words. What I'm not measuring, of course, is how much wood I'm putting into this system, but it could be an awful lot. I mean, if I was to go at it for 4.5 hours, like that chap does, I'd probably use up all of these sticks. We're about 1 hour and 10 minutes in now, and you can see the result of refilling this one. The smoke level has increased to antisocial, I'd say. This one I've blocked up about half of the holes at the bottom, so we've only got 4 holes remaining for air to get in, and this is just on the cusp of between smoke and no smoke. So most of the time there's no smoke out of it, but occasionally the odd little bit. And I've done that just to slow the burn right down. So that's a way of working out how far I can throttle it, I guess. Obviously I'm just making all this up as I go along. So this one now, we've got to drive off all the moisture in the new batch, which is just starting to happen. You can see some flames coming out the top there. And once it does that, the smoke will calm down again. Also bear in mind that since lighting it, we've done almost nothing to this one. I've just fiddled about with blocking up holes at the bottom. Other than that, it's been not touched it. This one, we filled it up twice since lighting it. We're now 1.5 hours in, and you can see the smoke's pretty much cleared from here, and this one is smoking a little bit. But I'm not inclined to open up the air on that at this point. I'm a bit worried it's all going to burn away to nothing. So remembering back to what I said about the different states of burning, so all that smoke was the water coming off. Now the yellow flame, that's the volatiles being burnt up, and then that's good, that's what we want. What we don't want is too much orange flame, which is the actual charcoal being consumed. We have to consume some of it to drive the process, but as little as possible is what we want. So I'm not going to put any more in this one now. I'm going to let them both run through. I can't get the camera to focus on it, but I can do just in there. It looks like we've burnt down to about the halfway point. So that's kind of what I was expecting, but it's still only 1.5 hours. We're just coming up on the 2 hour mark. Charcoal is a light by the looks of it. Of course, that's only the bit that we can see. There's going to be the heart of that where it hasn't quite turned into charcoal yet. So I'll shut this one off, and then we'll do the same with that. So I've got welding gauntlets this time, so we should be able to do more of a controlled descent. interesting. This looks just like that. I'm just going to flip it over, see if that helps. It goes without saying, don't breathe in the fumes if at all possible. It's mostly carbon monoxide at this point. That's it. That's it for round 2. So once again, I'll see you back here in the morning, and hopefully we'll have some improvement. Here we are then, back again. Well, I think we got most of it this time. Yes, much better looking charcoal as well. Actual proper big lumps of it this time, which is interesting. I'm going to use a different crate as a sieve this time. This one, the holes in the bottom are fine, but the holes in the sides are much too big. That is ideal looking charcoal. It's a proper coals. Let's see what's in here then. Now remember, this one, I refilled it several times during the burn. Oh, that looks good as well. Actually, there's a lot of silveriness on this lot, but this is good charcoal as well. This is made proper coals. Yeah, it's really done oh, well. Yeah, this has worked much better as well. Oh, the difference it makes with a longer burn time. So with the new method yesterday, I got 1 bucket and a little bit. One. 2. And 2 little bits. So 2 buckets and that much. Pretty much exactly double, which is great. I'm very happy with that. The old method, remembering that we filled it up a couple of times, is way more. Let's measure this one out. So yesterday, I think it was 2 buckets we got out of the old method. 2, 3. Nearly 4. So again, almost double. In summary then, done properly, like they were second time round, both methods worked really well. Both made nice big coals. Both of them, well, in case of this one, all of it turned into charcoal. In the case of this one, all of it bar a few sticks. This method produced twice as much charcoal, but I reckon it took over twice as much wood as raw material. It's just a less efficient process. That said, the charcoal that came out was excellent. On the other hand, this, well, for sheer convenience, just wins hands down. Plus the fact no smoke. Now I'd be quite happy to use either method again, but if I lived anywhere where there were neighbours that would be upset by the smoke, I'd definitely go for this one. Incidentally, this stuff, the stuff that's too small to be useful in the forge or in your barbecue, the finings, this is really useful in the garden as soil improver. I'm not going to go into detail and drag us off topic, but if you want to know more, just look into biochar, because that's essentially what this is. So how does it compare with the stuff bought from the shop then? Well, visually it's identical, as you'd expect. In terms of performance, well, we'll have to wait and see, but I'm 100% confident that this is going to burn lovely. This did fizz and spit a bit, but other than that, in fairness, it worked fine. I will have another session. If nothing else, I want to use up the bits that didn't work first time around. But for now, I've got 2 bin loads of top quality charcoal, which is more than enough to get on with my next forging project. So join me for that. Cheers for now.